Well, good morning or good day, whatever it is for you. Let's do the Good Life meditation for today, November 25th, 2021. Thanksgiving Day, also my daughter's birthday. She's 21 today. Wow, time flies. Let's do it. First with the objectives. First objective is to be always ready to die, to have my affairs in order, my art in order, and my relationships in order so that I'm prepared to pass away at any moment. How am I doing? I think I'm doing pretty good with those three. Wish the finances were a little better, but that's what life insurance is for. Okay, next one is the objective to make good and effective use of time, not to waste my time, but to, spending time with my dog is one of, I've got a catalog in the book of things I would like to be caught doing when death arrives, good things, and these are the ways that I would like to spend my days. Next is the good. Then the next is the development and maintenance of good and sound life principles. The creation of this catalog, this list of objectives and principles, and then the management of it. After that comes the performance of good. No. It's so hard to do this when you know someone else is watching. Be always ready to die. Good and effective use of time. Development and maintain good and sound life principles. The performance of good actions, just to do good things throughout the day. The recognition, I feel like I'm missing one. The recognition of true limits and true opportunities. Recognize what is and what is not within my scope of capability. The recognition of truth. Good gosh. I can't believe I'm getting these things all screwed up. But I can. This is my book, Going Alone, which catalogs the objectives and principles. So it's a handy reference I can look at if I forget. Okay, so be always ready to die. So here's the list. Okay, be always ready to die. Make good and effective use of time. And here's that list of all the things that I'd like to be caught doing when death comes. Things like breathing slow and measured breaths, controlling my emotions, thinking deliberately, acting deliberately, etc., etc. Develop and maintain good and sound life principles. Cultivate. I knew I was forgetting something. Cultivate good emotional reactions. Try to become a man who reacts well to the world around me, especially to circumstances that I didn't expect. Next is to perform good actions. To simply do good things throughout the day. See, I knew I'd missed that one. After perform good actions is perform good actions. Good gosh, this is embarrassing. I need my own cheat sheet. Just a second. Recognize true limits and true opportunity. I said that. Oh yeah, one thing slowly. It was the last one. That was number 7. I'll keep this handy for cheating reference. Just doing one thing at a time, avoiding multitasking whenever possible. Let's get on to the principles. Principle number 1 is the principle of war. To always be at war with, I'll keep the handy book here if I need it. To go to war with everything that I hold true and everything that you hold true too, especially the sacred cows, warring against cows. Principle of war. The second one is the principle of reason, the instrument of my war, and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt. Doubt is an important one, to be a skeptic. Next is the principle of the homunculus, the little mortal who lives inside my noggin here and who runs things and who will die with me, who can't escape. There's no escape hatch out the ear or anything once I die. You're going with me, Mr. Homunculus. After that comes the Anchorhold, which is the place where we suffer and die. It is a recognition that suffering is a part of life, and we basically have to learn to bear it in a way, for lack of a better term, because there's no escape really. But the things that are feign escapes, drugs and alcohol and distracting things are really not much of an escape because they are little hells of their own. After that comes the home of good and evil, is the catalog of right, or the catalog of right and wrong, the catalog of the list of things that constitute our definition of virtue, right? So the things we'll pursue in the course of our life and the things that we'll try to avoid. It's basically our ethics. After that comes the principle of, let's see if I can do this without this closed. It's embarrassing to not be able to do it from memory. I've been doing this for so many years every day. Okay, so war, reason, homunculus, the Anchorhold, place where we suffer and die, the home of good and evil, the catalog of right and wrong. After that comes the atomic principle. Everything is made of atoms that will fall to pieces when we die, or when they degrade, everything will eventually fall to pieces, down to except for the atomic particles themselves, perhaps just get changed, maybe. But that's the point. Fluctuation, right? This thing that I am right now is a temporary assemblage of atoms and molecules that will very soon dissolve into something else. You want to come up here too? Come here. So that's the atomic principle. And I got to be careful with this one. He's the biter. I got to make sure I hold him in the right way. Atomic principle. I got these two dogs. Atomic principle. Then comes the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature. It's his nature to bite. I was thinking about what I could use yesterday, what I could use this morning, and I noticed there's at the dog park, which is down the street, where I walk the dogs in the morning. There was an old man there that was kind of policing the place the other day, and I was thinking to myself, it's kind of the nature of old people to police the place. Principle of nature, and then the principle of maturity. No, pirate ride is the next one. I always forget that one. I don't forget it, but I skip over it and then I come back. The pirate ride is the idea that free will is an illusion, that we're basically acting out according to our nature, as he does, right? His nature is to bite if he gets unhappy. I mean, I'm sure he'll do it one day on this camera. He'll just turn in a moment and I'm sure you've seen dogs that do that. There are these videos of them on YouTube. If you touch his tail, you're doomed. Come on, you guys are kind of squished together. The nature, after the principle of nature comes the principle of maturity, with two sub-principles. Sub-principles of the sub-principles of, see, it's tricky up here. The principles of maturity, the sub-principles of maturity are wisdom and fortitude. Wisdom being the collected, what we've learned along the course of life. Fortitude being our energetic effort to not repeat those mistakes. After that comes social principle. We are social animals. We need one another to survive. Quite social. These dogs are quite social as well, clearly. And our best ends are social ends. You know, the things that we do for one another, with and for one another. After that comes public speaking. Using, when I'm speaking with others, using few words, slow words, careful words, deliberate words, the right words, and always speaking about others as though that person that I'm speaking of can hear what I'm saying, thus to avoid slander and gossip. After public speaking comes temperance, the ability to control our consumption of all things, food, drink, work, play, all these things, including the temperance in the use of our words, right? So we speak less, hearkening back to the previous principle. After that comes the Feast of Offal, offal being the discarded waste of a butcher. I like to think that we have our own human discarded waste in terms of the mental refuge that we spew out of our mouth when we're upset, especially when we don't control our emotions, when we're not stoic. And the Feast of Offal is a reminder to me to try to avoid doing that, because when I spew that out, others pick it up, they consume it like some foul thing, and then they themselves get sick and spew it out. They bring their upset home or to work or wherever, and it's not good. Next comes temperance, and the three sub-principles of suffering, simplicity, and apathy. Temperance is our controlled consumption. I've talked about it already, right? It kind of, this theme pops up, although this is the explicit reference to it. Temperance is suffering because we suffer when we withhold. It's simplicity because suffering, simplicity. Oh yes, simplicity. It's simple because what is tempered is simple typically, and apathy applies because apathy is the ability, in a more positive note, the ability to recognize what is not within our control or outside of our influence, and to let that go. That's temperance too. From temperance we go to the distraction. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Temperance through distraction. We distract ourselves through all kinds of things that keep us busy so that we don't have to see what's really out there, which is namely the great indifference, the big emptiness of the universe that doesn't give a damn about us. A universe without God, in fact. Apparently, if God's out there, he seems to be hiding behind a planet somewhere, playing peekaboo, the best game of peekaboo ever. That fact is an awful fact for many. It's an intolerable fact for many. So we distract ourselves with other things. Church is a great distraction. Work is another good distraction. Anything at all to not have to apprehend the great indifference. So after that comes the best seat in the house. This is a pretty good seat right here. The idea, the reminder that to not want to be anyone else, be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing right now. Next is the Path of Wildness. The Path of Wildness is the first principle I ever came up with. It's a reminder that when I have to make a decision and I've collected all the facts and I still can't make up my mind, to then perhaps lean into my first inclination. That often there's something to that. Not always. Sometimes it'll lead you to something bad, but it's better than not doing anything at all sometimes. The Path of Wildness, it's easy to find. The course of a stream, leaves blown in the wind, a beast's track through the brush, and the direction of our first inclination. Next comes, after the Path of Wildness, is the risk of avoiding risk, the deep level and surface level risk of life. The surface level risk of life is securing this, a home, family, job, education. Those are great things, but they're the easier things to get in life. I know there's a lot that don't even have that. So I don't mean easy in terms of and it's easy to get. It's easy in comparison to the other thing in life, which is to discover where our interests lie and then to actualize on that and to actually live the life that we dream of. It's hard to have both. Sometimes it's hard to have the dream and the comfort. Some people do it. Me, not so much. Although I'm working now, I'm struggling on the comfort part now. I'm struggling to catch up on that part now. So after that comes sin and damnation. And I forgot again. Hope, that's it. There are 5, I'm actually going to make 6 sub-principles here. Let's see if I can remember them. Hope, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, and authority. I took off credulity and added authority and hope. Let's see. Why would hope those, if anything's sticking, if you've never heard me say this before, hope and faith, why are those sins? Hope is a sin because it's an impotence. It's an impotent thing. It's just, wishing for things, right? It doesn't affect any action. And faith, because faith is the mother of all wishful thinking. It's having no reason, no evidence, because that's the definition of faith. No evidence, or at least no good evidence, and claiming not that just that you want that, but that it's absolutely so. Right? Wow. Imagine the naive. So hope, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, and authority are the sins in my worldview. I'll explore them more later. Dogs are getting heavy. After the sin and damnation comes the great life adventure. Yes, one or more marquee events in life that define who we are. Pull one out of the air. Tikio Sam, and his adventures in Japan. really, defining who he is. It's a great life adventure of his, and it'll be interesting to see how he capitalizes on that, not monetarily necessarily, but in terms of the next principle, which is the season of philosophy. The season of philosophy is what we do with this life that we live of ours, in terms of making some mark in the world, some sharing our perspective. I wonder what Sam will do. He's a fiercely intelligent man, and aptly courageous as well. And he's living a great life adventure, and it'll be interesting to see what he does with that in the end. Next is season of philosophy. Oh yes, the bullseye aim. The reminder that we try to hit the mark, but usually miss by some degrees. Oh well. And then bullseye aim, uphill climb. Yeah, life's a steady uphill struggle. Then the arena and utility. Now, life is an arena, a forum, and the utility is all of our utility, our tools, are all the objectives and principles that we collect along the way to help us get by. And then the last one, nothing is enough. That's right, nothing is enough. Not fully nothing, you wouldn't get too far, it's cold outside, but you get the point, right? Rather than constantly after something, better to be content with less. And with that, that's my good life meditation for today. I wish you all the best. The dogs and I are going to go down and have our breakfast now. And then after that, we're going to go to Irvine and meet the family for a Thanksgiving meal. Rudy, you look comfy. Okay, all of you good? Guys, you want to go get breakfast? Ollie, food? Ollie, want to get some food? Let's go get some food. All right, I hope you all have a good day. Take care. Oh, remember, be safe, but not too safe.